Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
It is hard to imagine our world today without Google. Most people use Google every day. We search for things, we ask questions, and we find answers quickly. Billions of searches happen on Google each day. If we do not know something, we often say, just Google it. Google is one of the biggest technology companies in the world, like Amazon and Apple. But before Google, finding information on the Internet was very difficult. The Internet existed, but it was hard to use. You could use other websites like Yahoo, but they were not very good for searching. It was like looking through a very big phone book without an order. Sometimes, before Google, people had to use real dictionaries or phone books to find things. It took a long time. Few people know the two smart men who started Google. Their names are Larry Page and Sergey Brin. These two men created a revolution. Today, they are very rich with billions of dollars. They are the main people behind Google. What began as a new way to search is now a company that has many products. 8 of their products have more than 1 billion users. People use Google to learn new things, to talk to others, to work, and to watch videos. Google helps people move around the Internet easily. Google has changed how we live. The word Google is now a verb, meaning to search for something on the Internet. This company started small. It changed how we get information. It became one of the biggest technology companies in the world. This book will tell their story. 2. Two smart students. Larry Page and Sergey Brin were two smart students. Both were born in 1973. Larry grew up in Michigan. His parents were experts in computers. He learned a lot about technology from them. Larry was an inventor. He was quiet but loved computers very much. Sergey was born in Moscow, Russia. His mother was a scientist and his father was a math professor. When Sergey was 6, his family moved to the United States. They came to America to escape problems for Jewish people in Russia. Sergey's family also loved math and science. California was a good place for them. Many big tech companies were there. It was a place where smart people met. Larry and Sergey both went to Stanford University. Sergey was a guide for new students. Larry was one of the new students Sergey helped. They met in 1995. At first, they did not like each other much. They often argued about many things. Larry thought Sergey was annoying because he had strong opinions. But they also had good talks, so there was a connection. Larry started looking for an idea for his big school project. He was very interested in the Internet. He thought of a new way to find information online. He wanted a search engine that was different. Larry's idea was to check how many other websites linked to a certain page. If many important websites link to a page, that page must be important too. This would help rank websites better. This idea became a project called Backrub. It needed a lot of computer power and complex math. Sergey Brin was a great help with this. In 1996, they started working together. They used Stanford University computers to test their ideas. Soon, they created something important called the PageRank algorithm. This special system looked at links between websites. It helped rank pages by importance. This algorithm became the main part of Google's search engine. Their project was the beginning of something big. 3. A new company is born. Backrub was the first name for Larry and Sergey's project. But they knew they needed a better name for their growing idea. They wanted a name that showed how much information they planned to organize and how vast the Internet was. They chose Google. This name came from a real mathematical term, Google. A Google is the number 1 followed by 100 zeros. It is a very, very big number, much larger than anything most people imagine. This name perfectly fit their grand plan to sort and make sense of all the information on the entire Internet. In August 1996, the new name Google was first used, marking an important step. Larry and Sergey were still students at Stanford University at this time. Their project was becoming very popular on campus, and their student dorm room had quickly become their programming center and main office. Despite their success, they were not entirely sure if they wanted to leave their studies to focus on a business. Finishing their PhDs was important to them, and it was a goal they had worked towards for a long time. However, their search engine idea was too strong to ignore. An advisor wisely told them to try building the company, saying they could always return to school if the business did not succeed. So, Larry and Sergey made the big decision to leave Stanford University, choosing to work full-time on their new venture. They quickly realized they needed money to make their company bigger and reach more people. In 1998, they had an important meeting with an investor named Andy Bechtolsheim. He was a co-founder of a successful company called Sun Microsystems. Andy was very smart and quickly saw how good Larry and Sergey's search engine was. Without much hesitation, he wrote them a check for $100,000. This was the very first investment Google received, and it was a huge amount of money to help them properly start. After getting this initial funding, Google was officially registered as a company on September 4, 1998, a date that marked its true beginning. Soon after receiving the investment, Larry and Sergey moved out of their student rooms for good. They needed a proper place to work, a dedicated office. Their first choice was not a fancy corporate building. Instead, they moved into the garage of their friend Susan Wojcicki. Her garage was located in Menlo Park, California, a famous area for tech companies. It was a simple space, but it was their own. The garage had a ping-pong table for breaks and a bright blue carpet. This modest garage became Google's very first company office. From this humble beginning, a new and powerful company was truly born. Larry and Sergey worked tirelessly there to improve their search engine, building the foundation for its future success. 4. Making money. Google was becoming very popular. Many people liked its simple design and how well it found information. But even though many people used Google every day, the company was not making any money. This was a big problem for Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Larry and Sergey, the founders, did not want their website to be full of ugly ads. Other websites like Yahoo and AOL had many pop-up ads and flashing pictures. Larry and Sergey thought these ads made websites look messy and were annoying for users. They wanted Google to be clean and easy to use. Their main goal was to build trust with the people who used their search engine. They believed that too many ads would make users unhappy and leave. Because they did not want ads, Google had no way to earn money. In the late 1990s, the founders even tried to sell the company. They talked to other big internet companies like Excite, AltaVista, and Yahoo. They offered to sell Google for $1 million. But these companies did not see the value in Google. They did not buy it. Larry and Sergey had to find another way to make money, but without making their website look bad. They thought hard about how to add ads that would not bother users. They came up with a new idea. Instead of big, colorful, flashing ads, they would use small, simple text ads. These ads looked like regular search results, but were clearly marked as advertisements. They did not pop up or move around the screen. They were quiet and helpful. This new way of showing ads worked very well. Users did not feel annoyed. They could still find what they needed easily. And because many people used Google, many businesses wanted to place their small text ads there. By September of 2000, Google's money started to grow very fast. The company began to earn a lot of money from these simple advertisements. Google had found a smart way to make money and stay true to its idea of a clean, user-friendly website. 5. Growing bigger and bigger. Google became very popular in the early 2000s. Before this time, Yahoo was the biggest internet search engine. But Google was growing very fast. So fast, in fact, that in the year 2000, Yahoo decided to use Google as its search provider. This showed Google's power. 2 years later, in 2002, Yahoo tried to buy Google. They offered $3 billion for the company. But Larry Page and Sergey Brin said no. They believed Google was worth at least $5 billion. Yahoo did not buy Google then. Google kept inventing new things. Later, in 2002, they launched Google News. This was a new service that gathered news articles from many different websites. It changed how people found and read the news online. This showed that Google was more than just a search engine. In 2001, a Google employee named Paul Buchheit started working on an email service. Google needed a better way for its many employees to communicate and store their emails. Paul built a fast and easy-to-use email product. On April 1, 2004, Gmail was launched to the public. Many people thought it was an April Fool's joke because of the date, but it was real. Gmail offered a very large storage space, 1 gigabyte. At that time, this was much more than any other email service. People could save many emails without worrying about space. By 2004, Google was the most popular search engine around the world. The company was making a lot of money from its simple text advertisements. It was time for Google to go to the stock market. This meant selling shares of the company to the public. Google priced its shares at $85 each. This made the company worth $27 billion. Google raised almost $1.7 billion from this sale. Google continued to expand and offer even more useful tools. They created Google Maps, which helps people find directions and see places on a map. They also created Google Earth, which allowed users to see images of the entire world from above. These new products showed Google's big ideas and how they wanted to organize all the world's information. Google became such a big part of daily life that its name became a verb. People started to say to Google something when they wanted to search for information online. The word Google was even added to dictionaries. This showed how Google had truly become a part of global culture. 6. New ideas and problems. Google was very successful, but with great success came new challenges. Around this time, a new company started to grow very fast. Its name was Facebook, and it was created by Mark Zuckerberg. Facebook soon became one of the most visited websites in the world. This was a big change for the Internet. Before, people used the Internet mainly to find information, like on Google. But now, people started to use the Internet more to share things about their lives, like photos and messages with friends and family. This was a new way to use the Internet. Google saw this change. They understood that sharing was becoming important. So Google wanted to be part of this new trend. They decided to try and make their own social media websites. Their first try was a project called Google Buzz. It was launched in 2010. Google Buzz let people share updates and links just like other social media sites. But it did not become very popular. Many people found it confusing. It also had some problems with privacy. So Google Buzz did not work very well. But Google did not give up. They tried again with a bigger project. In 2011, they launched Google+. This was a very ambitious plan. Google+ had many features. It had circles, where you could put your friends into different groups. It also had Hangouts, which let people have video calls with many friends at once. Google put a lot of money and effort into Google+. They tried very hard to make it a success. They even told Google employees that their jobs depended on Google+ doing well. Despite all this effort, Google+ also did not work very well. It never got as many users as Facebook. People just did not use it as much as Google hoped. Over time, Google realized that trying to compete with Facebook in social media was very difficult. So, Google learned an important lesson. They learned it was better to focus on what they did best. This meant focusing on their main products, search, like Google Search, and organizing information. They also continued to develop other helpful services like Google Maps and Gmail. This decision helped Google to stay strong and successful, even as the Internet continued to change. They stopped trying to be a social media company and focused on being the best information company. 7. A giant company. Google grew from a small company in a garage to a very big company. It became a giant in the world of technology. People all over the world used Google every day. Billions of searches happened on Google daily. Google had many popular products. 8 of its products had more than 1 billion users each. People used Google to find information, talk to others, work, watch videos, and move around the Internet. As Google grew, it also changed its structure. In 2015, Google created a new, larger company called Alphabet. Alphabet became the parent company. This meant Google was now part of Alphabet, along with other smaller companies Google owned. Sundar Pichai later became the CEO of both Google and Alphabet. This change helped the big company manage all its different parts. Being a giant company also brought new problems. Google faced many legal questions, especially in Europe. Governments wanted to know if Google had too much power. They looked closely at how Google handled advertising and its mobile phone software. These challenges showed that it was difficult to be one of the world's largest technology companies. Google had to work through these problems and answer many questions about its business. Despite these challenges, Google continued to be very successful. It remained a very valuable company. In 2017, Google even became the most valuable brand in the world. It showed that the company was still strong and important. Through all its growth and new challenges, Google tried to remember its first goal. Larry Page and Sergey Brin started Google to organize the world's information. They wanted to make it easy for everyone to find and use this information. Google worked to stay true to this mission. It continued to help people find what they needed on the Internet. Because of Google, the Internet and how we find information today look very different. The company kept changing and learning, always trying to get back to the top even after small problems. 8. the next chapter. In 2019, Larry Page and Sergey Brin made a big decision. They stepped down from their main roles at Google and its parent company. Sundar Pichai, who had been an important leader at Google for many years, became the new Chief Executive Officer of both Google and Alphabet. This change was not a complete surprise to many, as Larry and Sergey had slowly become less involved in the daily work of the company. They were ready for a new chapter. After leaving their leadership roles, Larry Page and Sergey Brin chose to live very private lives. They are not often seen or heard in public. Many people find them to be two of the most mysterious leaders in the technology world because they carefully keep their personal lives very quiet. This is quite different from many other famous people who lead big tech companies. Despite their private nature, some details about their families are known. Larry Page married a research scientist named Lucinda Southworth in 2007 on a private island. Sergey Brin married biotech specialist Anne Wojcicki. Her sister, Susan Wojcicki, owned the garage where Google first started. Later, Sergey married attorney Nicole Shanahan in 2018. Larry Page and Sergey Brin left a very important mark on the world. They started Google from a simple idea in a garage and built it into one of the biggest technology companies. They changed how everyone finds information online and how we use the Internet every day. Their innovative work helped connect people and knowledge in new ways, making the world's information easy to reach for billions of users. Their strong legacy will continue to affect us for many years to come. What do you think is the biggest change Google brought to your daily life?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.